Coming up, recommendations for people looking to help those impacted by Hurricane Helene.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. Hurricane Helene made landfall exactly 1 week ago, and today the death toll is at 215 throughout several states, and it could go even higher. Kentuckians are no strangers to natural disasters and the lengthy recovery process that follows. Those in Breathitt County are coming together to help their affected neighbors further south, and they have some recommendations for anyone else looking to help. Grayson Passmore tells us what the county's recovery team say are great to donate right now and what you should avoid.
The Breathitt County community is all too familiar with the devastation caused by natural disasters.
Collaboration, coordination, and communication is key.
So the county's long-term recovery team was formed after the 2021 flooding.
We have survivors and we have victims. We understand their loss, whether that is property, whether that is people, and whether that's pets.
Jamie Mullins-Smith and her team have learned over the years what people truly need immediately following a disaster.
Quite honestly, monetary donations would be the greatest help to them right now. I know that they are putting lists out and there are items that they do need, and that's low stock there, and that's extremely important for us to be able to take that to them.
Mullins-Smith says if you're looking to collect donations, first contact a team like your local volunteer agencies active in disaster. They'll know what supplies are needed. She says don't donate used clothing right now. There's just nowhere to store it. And if you are taking supplies down,
go ahead and inventory it as you're putting it on the truck or the trailer. That way, when you get there, you can give that to the individual that is distributing. That information is critical data because your emergency management coordinators and your VOADs are going to need that when it comes to doing their paperwork for FEMA or other federal grants and applications.
Mullins-Smith says they noticed after about 80 days they had very few to no volunteers still helping on the ground. With such widespread damage, if you can't help right now, it will still be needed for weeks and months to come.
We know the path they've walked, and we can help them build a new path back.
In Breathitt County, Grayson Passmore, WKYT.
And remember, Breathitt County was hit by back-to-back floods in 2021 and 2022. Monetary donations collected by the Breathitt County Long-Term Recovery Team were given to RISE Disaster Relief and Recovery and Samaritan's Purse. Appalachian Regional Healthcare is still collecting supplies to take to those impacted by Helene. They are asking for items like canned food, water, antihistamines like Benadryl, and cleaning supplies and basic hygiene items. They are not accepting clothing. Those with ARH tell us helping can start with a quick look around your home.
People have lost their homes and lost everything, and they're just starting to clean up, and they've got months of rebuilding their lives. So all the things you see around your home are the things we're collecting here.
You can drop off donations from 8 until 5 at any ARH hospital or the System Center there in Lexington. They are accepting them through next Friday. Our parent company, Gray Media, is also teaming up with the Salvation Army to help Helene survivors. Just scan the QR code on your screen to donate. That money will go toward food, water, and long-term recovery services. I understand hundreds of thousands of dollars have already been raised throughout our Gray television family. Well, Coal Country Candles in Hazard is selling a candle to benefit those impacted by Hurricane Helene. The candle is called One Appalachia to symbolize unity while fundraising. Co-owner Shannon Gabbard says the flooding brought back memories of the 2022 flood, and she just wanted to help.
We hope that everybody who purchases this candle, when you take that candle home and you burn that you're also saying a little prayer and sending up some positive thoughts for all of those people in our Appalachian region who are experiencing so much loss right now.
100% of the proceeds will go to the Appalachian Helene Response Fund. If you are interested in buying the candle, you can go to their store on East Main Street in Hazard or order it online.
Well, we had a beautiful day across eastern Kentucky after we got rid of the pesky fog that was in the area in the morning hours. Take a look here at live pinpoint Doppler radar. All is quiet at this hour. You can see nothing to talk about in terms of rainfall. And right now, we're seeing a little bit of cloud cover and some places a little bit of patchy fog, but temperatures right now are in the low to mid 60s. We're at 66 Jackson, 65 in London, 64 in Manchester, 63 in Wise. You go to Monticello, good evening to you folks over there, 61 degrees, 60 is the current temperature in Clintwood. As we help you plan the next several hours, we'll see temperatures staying in the mid 60s. We'll go into the upper 60s by the 10 o'clock hour, and then by noon, we'll go into the mid 70s. Overnight lows, not bad, above normal for this time of year. We'll be seeing temperatures in the 50s and 60s. Now, coming up in the first alert forecast, we'll talk about this weekend, and we'll take a look at the tropics as we have our new Category 4 hurricane out there. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. Steve.
All right. Thank you, Eric. There are verdicts tonight in the federal trial of 3 Memphis police officers accused in the fatal beating death of Tyree Nichols during a traffic stop last year. All 3 officers were found guilty of trying to cover up what happened the night Nichols was killed, but not guilty of other crimes, including the most serious charges, violating his civil rights and causing harm. The officers were all taken into custody. The strike at the ports along the nation's east and Gulf coasts are over for now. A tentative deal on wages was reached this evening. A source says the agreement on wages amounts to a $4 per hour raise for each year of the 6-year contract. The union agreed to extend the contract that expired earlier this week until January 15th, while the full agreement is worked on. As a result, the 50,000 union members will return to work on Friday, so there will not be a strike through the holiday season. In 2020, Liz Cheney criticized Kamala Harris as a, quote, radical liberal. Tonight, the former Wyoming Republican Congresswoman officially backed the Democratic vice president's bid for the White House during a rally in Wisconsin. Meanwhile, former President Donald Trump was also on the campaign trail in the battleground state of Michigan. CBS's Bradley Blackburn reports from New York.
Campaigning in Wisconsin Thursday night, Vice President Kamala Harris received an official endorsement from former GOP lawmaker Liz Cheney.
I tell you, I have never voted for a Democrat, but this year I am proudly casting my vote for Vice President Kamala Harris. She's working to unite reasonable people from all across the political spectrum.
There is actually an honest question about whether one of the candidates will uphold the oath to the Constitution of the United States.
Cheney was the top GOP member of the committee that investigated the January 6th Capitol insurrection, focusing on the actions of former President Donald Trump.
He praised the rioters. He did not condemn them.
After breaking with Republican ranks, Cheney lost her House seat in a congressional primary. At a rally in Michigan, Trump spoke for about an hour and a half.
We are going to defeat Lion Kamala Harris, one of the worst candidates ever. We've never had a candidate like that. And how about the vice president? That's going to be president someday? I don't think so.
When asked at the White House, President Biden said he's not surprised the presidential race remains tight, saying he thinks Harris is, quote, going to do fine. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Harris will campaign in Michigan on Friday. Trump is set to return to the site of the July attempt on his life in Butler, Pennsylvania on Saturday. This morning, the Kentucky Department of Education released its 2024 school report card, and several schools here in the mountains were among the best in the state. In Perry County, Buckhorn was the 6th highest rated high school, and Robinson was the 10th highest rated middle school in the state. Both, of course, were impacted by the 2022 flood, but the students and staff set a goal to be the best.
This week, we're going to sit down and we're going to show our students where they're at compared to other students in the state and what they need to do to grow. Once they see that, once they are able to set a goal, a lot of times those kids achieve that goal.
Buckhorn and Robinson students had to share space at the old A.B. Combs Elementary School after the flood. Buckhorn students are now back in their remodeled building. You can see the schools in our area that made the top 25 on our website. Tonight in Leslie County, several folks gathered for a special event. Local treasures put a spotlight on some who go above and beyond for their community. WYMT's Neely Green spoke to some of the award recipients.
Thursday night, folks came together to celebrate Leslie County's local treasures. The event was a partnership between the Hyde and Leslie County Chamber of Commerce, Leslie County Community Foundation, and Mary Breckenridge's Wendover.
We're trying to recognize folks all across the community for the things that they're doing. They're making huge impacts, and we want to spotlight that.
Dr. Scotty Day is a physician-in-chief for Kentucky Children's Hospital at the University of Kentucky, and he says he is proud of his Leslie County roots.
They always say you can take the boy out of the country, but you can't take the country out of the boy, and so this is always my hometown.
Another local treasure was recognized that served more than just Leslie County.
Having served 27 years, almost 27 years in the Marine Corps, coming back home is really a blessing in itself, but being honored on top of that is something I think it's hard to put into words.
Hillary Meehan was also recognized for her contributions as Leslie County School psychologist and head girls track coach.
Being recognized tonight, I just really truly do feel like it's an honor. I just think Leslie County and Hyden are the best place on earth, and I'm really grateful.
Nearly 10 awards were handed out. In Leslie County, Neely Green, WYMT Mountain News.
And for a full list of those local treasures award recipients, just find this story on our website, WYMT.com. Coming up on Mountain News at 11, the 60th Kentucky Apple Festival kicks off in Johnson County tomorrow.
And we got a lot of festivals. We need the raincoat or the sunglasses. I'll have the answer in a few minutes.